within the European Patent Convention, we have an article, Article 53A, which prohibits us from granting patents which deal with public disorder and morality issues. It's important for our examiners to start to understand what those issues may be. The ethical and societal impacts of artificial intelligence need to be considered by those dealing with legislative issues, together with the benefits of industrialization, of the economic development of our society. You can only do that really with an understanding of these issues side by side.
The dark side of technology, ethical considerations in tech development. In today's fast-paced world, technology has become an integral part of our daily lives. From smartphones to smart homes, we are constantly connected and immersed in a world of technological advancements. However, as technology continues to evolve, we must also consider the ethical implications of our innovations. The dark side of technology is a complex and often overlooked aspect of technological development, including concerns such as privacy violations, the perpetuation of social inequalities, and environmental impacts. In today's video, we will explore the ethical considerations in tech development and the actions we can take to ensure technology is used responsibly. But before we start, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay connected. Let's get started. Examples of unethical tech development. Technology has changed the world in many ways, but some of the most significant changes are the result of unethical tech development. One example of unethical tech development is the use of surveillance technology. With the rise of smart homes, security cameras, and other surveillance tools, many people are concerned about the impact of this technology on privacy. Companies like Google and Amazon have been criticized for their collection and use of personal data, and governments around the world have implemented surveillance measures to track citizens' movements and activities. Another example is the bias in artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms. These algorithms are used in everything from hiring decisions to credit scoring, but they are often trained on biased data sets. This can lead to discrimination against certain groups, such as people of color or women. For example, a facial recognition algorithm used by law enforcement was found to be less accurate for people with darker skin tones, leading to false accusations and arrests. In 2018, researchers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, published a study on the biases in facial recognition technology. The study found that commercially available facial recognition algorithms had higher error rates for darker-skinned individuals, particularly women. The error rate for lighter-skinned males was 0.8%, while the error rate for darker-skinned females was 34.7%. The researchers concluded that this bias was likely due to the lack of diversity in the datasets used to train the algorithms. This study highlights the importance of considering the ethical implications of technological innovations. As artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms become more widespread, it is essential to ensure that they are free from biases that could result in discrimination or harm to certain groups. The impact of social media on mental health is another example of unethical tech development. Studies have shown that the constant use of social media can lead to addiction, depression, and anxiety. The algorithms used by social media platforms encourage users to spend more time on their platforms, leading to a vicious cycle of addictive behavior. The environmental impact of technology manufacturing and disposal is also a concern. The production of electronics requires the use of rare earth minerals, which are often mined using environmentally damaging methods. When electronics are disposed of, they can release toxins into the environment. In addition, the energy required to power electronic devices contributes to climate change. These examples of unethical tech development illustrate the importance of considering the broader impacts of technological innovations. It is not enough to create a new technology without considering its impact on individuals, society, and the environment. As technology continues to advance, we must prioritize ethical considerations and work to mitigate the negative impacts of these innovations. Factors contributing to unethical tech development. What are the factors contributing to unethical tech development? The answer is complex, but there are several key factors that have contributed to the rise of unethical tech development. These factors include corporate greed, lack of government regulation, and a focus on short-term profits over long-term consequences. Corporate greed is a major factor in unethical tech development. Companies are often driven by a desire for profit, which can lead them to prioritize the bottom line over ethical considerations. For example, many technology companies have been criticized for their collection and use of personal data, which can be used for targeted advertising or sold to third-party companies without the user's consent. Lack of government regulation is another contributing factor to unethical tech development. With the rapid pace of technological innovation, it can be difficult for lawmakers to keep up and establish regulations that protect consumers and promote ethical practices. For example, the use of facial recognition technology by law enforcement has sparked debates over privacy and civil liberties, but there is little regulation in place to ensure that this technology is used ethically. The focus on short-term profits over long-term consequences is also a contributing factor to unethical tech development. Companies may prioritize quick gains over long-term sustainability, which can lead to the development of technologies that have negative impacts on individuals, society, and the environment. For example, the production and disposal of electronic devices contribute to environmental degradation, but the focus on producing new and improved devices often comes at the cost of responsible disposal and recycling. These factors contribute to a culture of unethical tech development, in which companies prioritize profit over ethical considerations. However, it is important to note that not all companies prioritize profits over ethics, and there are many examples of companies that have taken a responsible and ethical approach to technological innovation. Ultimately, it is up to individuals, companies, and governments to prioritize ethical considerations in tech development. By holding companies accountable for their actions, advocating for responsible regulation, and making informed decisions as consumers, we can work towards a future in which technology is developed and used ethically. Steps to promote ethical tech development. Promoting ethical tech development is crucial for creating a sustainable and just future. Here are some steps that can be taken to promote ethical tech development. 1. Foster a culture of ethical awareness. Companies should prioritize ethical considerations and foster a culture of ethical awareness among employees. This includes providing training and resources on ethical decision-making and ensuring that employees understand the potential impact of their work. 2. Establish clear guidelines and regulations. Governments and regulatory bodies should establish clear guidelines and regulations that promote ethical tech development. This can include guidelines on data privacy, environmental sustainability, and responsible artificial intelligence. 3. Prioritize diversity and inclusion. Companies should prioritize diversity and inclusion in their workforce and in the development of their technologies. This includes considering the needs of diverse populations and ensuring that technology does not perpetuate social inequalities. 4. Encourage collaboration and transparency. Companies should encourage collaboration and transparency in the development of their technologies. This includes working with stakeholders to understand their needs and concerns, and being transparent about how technology works and how data is collected and used. 5. Take responsibility for negative impacts. Companies should take responsibility for the negative impacts of their technologies and work to mitigate them. This includes being transparent about potential risks and harms and taking steps to address them. 6. Engage with communities. Companies should engage with communities that may be affected by their technologies and work to understand their concerns and needs. This includes consulting with community leaders and stakeholders and incorporating their feedback into the development of technology. 7. Support ethical tech research. Governments, companies, and philanthropic organizations should support research on ethical tech development and provide funding for projects that promote ethical considerations. By taking these steps, we can promote a culture of responsible innovation and ensure that technology is developed and used in ways that promote the well-being of individuals, society, and the environment. It is up to all of us to prioritize ethical considerations in tech development and work towards a future that is equitable and sustainable. What steps do you think individuals, companies, and governments should take to promote ethical tech development and ensure that technology is developed and used in ways that promote the well-being of individuals, society, and the environment.
Computers, respect. Now, let's consider some ethical issues that arise when using technology and networks. The most obvious ethical issue with technology is simply the misuse of personal time, such as using the company time to surf the web or conducting personal business at work. This includes surfing inappropriate websites, websites unrelated to work, chat rooms, viewing pornographic or racist sites. There is also the misuse of bandwidth, such as running programs, downloading music, or other kinds of operations that take up bandwidth. Email issues include invasion of privacy by failing to protect personal information, customer information, and confidential company information, wasting time for personal email, inappropriate use such as soliciting, harassment, or running an outside business, email viruses, and hacking. Proper use of technology is really about responsibility and respect. When you use the technology for the purpose it was intended, you show respect for ownership. If you use something inappropriately or for personal use, you are not respecting the rights of the owner. Additionally, you don't show respect for privacy and confidentiality. Just because you can access information doesn't mean you should. Breaking into an electronic file is no different than breaking the lock on a door. It is still breaking and entering, and any information obtained as a result is stolen and is a violation of that individual's rights, privacy, and confidentiality. And finally, proper use of technology shows your respect for property. Tampering with or changing electronic information is vandalism and shows disrespect for others' property. Remember that the same ethical principles apply for use of technology as they do for any other type of physical asset.
David, the finance director in the company.
Finally, I'm done with the review. Ah, Linda, what is the matter?
David, I would like to report that one of our major customers, Super Private Limited, has just returned to us most of the shipment of goods delivered to them towards the end of Q4 in the last financial year. The total sum of the goods returned is $4.5 million.
$4.5 million? That's going to bring down the sales performance. Okay. Thanks for informing me. I will need to inform the sales director.
Okay. I will make the required adjustments for your review.
David, what is the matter?
Johnny, listen. Super Private Limited just returned a large amount of goods. It's $4.5 million.
About that, I can explain. My staff made a careless mistake. He shipped 50,000 units instead of 5,000 units.
I will need to adjust the sales figure downwards by $4.5 million then.
Can you wait till January before putting through the sales adjustment instead of putting it through in December? It was just a careless mistake and everybody is looking forward to the bonus from our good sales performance.
I am afraid not.
David, please, you know how this adjustment will affect our sales performance. All our bonuses will be badly affected.
My bonus will be affected too, but the accounts should always be true and fair.
I have already reprimanded my staff and the matter is closed. Do not insist on adjusting the numbers and make everyone suffer because of it. We can speak to the CEO.
Now let's review and understand the learning points from this case study. First, there could be a self-interest threat, since the potential adjustment would lower bonuses. Second, there could also be an intimidation threat, as Johnny said he would escalate the issue to the CEO after David insisted on making the adjustment. David insisted on making the adjustment to the sales in the correct financial period, even though this would lower his bonus. If Johnny gets the CEO to apply pressure on David, David may consider consulting the audit committee or those charged with governance. In the worst case, David may have to consider resigning to disassociate himself from the unadjusted financial statements, which would contain misleading financial information.